How y'all doing? How y'all doing? This is Alvin with Trying Success here on the Old Fashioned Health Network. Good health inside and out. And y'all hear me say all the time, my favorite person. But for real, y'all, this time this is my favorite guy, Petie Parker, the artist himself, man. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm great. Thank you for having me on the show. I know it's been a long time coming.
Man, I'm excited about this show. I want people to know. Please tell people who you are, the infamous Petie Parker. Not Spider-Man himself, but this is.
That's funny because that's where the name derived from. So I'm Petie Parker. I was originally a web developer for about 15 years. During that time, I also managed a few artists as far as visual artists, painters, and photographers. And I made a name for myself in Atlanta by doing so, like by being an artist manager. Mm-hmm. And as of the last 2.5 years, I just jumped into painting. And you helped me with that. Gave me my first opportunity really to do a mural. And now that's what I do and I'm gonna do that for the rest of my life. Like I did a career change in the midst of COVID and just ended up taking off. So now I'm a muralist and fine artist.
And Pete, where can they find some of your work? Tell them where they can find just a few of your pieces in this
some
of your murals.
I push real hard my Instagram page, which is just my name at Petieparker, Petie Parker. Mm-hmm. But I have work, and you can also purchase work or a commission piece off of my website, which is PEYE.shop, and that just stands for Petie's Eye. So it's like the way I see things, really. So it's pie.shop. And that's the best way to find me, both the website and on Instagram.
So I want to make sure that they spell your name. I'm going to have my engineer while we're talking to put your name under there.
Okay.
So y'all make sure you put Petie's name under that so that people can see how I spell his name. So go and add Petie's
name.
The
title on too.
Yeah. So what's up with that? What is that? Is that one of your What's the type
this hat? Yeah. I just always paint in it. It just makes me feel comfortable.
Really?
I don't got waves like you, man. So
they can't see them, man. You made me I had to put my headset back on. I brushed the waves all this morning, waiting on to show them all. So I have a picture in the background that people can see.
Right.
And we talked a little bit about this painting that's in the background of what we're looking at now. Tell them about that particular picture that they can see right now.
So the painting in the background of this overall show is a painting of my muse. Her name is Mercedes. We work together at Peter Street Station, which is an art and design community center that I'm the general manager of. Mm-hmm. So she's just gorgeous, and I'm very inspired by like just beautiful women. Her physique is like very attractive to me. I'm saying that professionally speaking. Right. And I'm very much into like Greek mythology and medieval things. Mm. So I saw this piece of, I think it was Grace Jones. She has on like chainmail, which is what Mercedes has on in this piece. Okay. So I just wanted to like paint her as that. And then there's a scene in the background. So a lot of my pieces, I use a lot of blacks. So I use black on black. Some of the blacks we have to specially order. So you can see like a battle scene going on in the background. So it's the main silhouette is pretty much her, like she's like in the midst of battle, just standing there with the whole battle going on behind her and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get better at conceptualizing stories to go along with the portraits that I do. It's really my goal.
Well, I mean, I do like this painting. When you first showed it to me the other day, I was like, this is so good. I mean, the detail that you put into your painting. See, I've got a chance to have the privilege to watch you in person, do a mural, and we've had some fun even when I first got introduced to you with some of the painting and the stuff that you do, and me learning something about painting. Now, what's the difference between a person that, how do you separate yourself from what you do versus a person that's in somebody that draw versus somebody that paint? Isn't that two different things?
Yeah, I mean, this is two different mediums. Like you could be a sketch artist or use pencil or granite, and that's like the difference between a paint, And within paint, you have the two most popular ones, I believe, is acrylic and oil painting. Okay. I haven't. I'm intimidated by oil painting. It's just. I think it's just not for me. With acrylic painting, it dries faster,
Okay.
and my style actually comes from the way I actually draw, and I draw real loose and sketchy and keep making movements and marks until I actually start to see something, rather than try to be so precise. And painting with acrylic, since it dries so fast, allows me to do the same thing.
Okay.
So a lot of times I'm just really just scribbling until I start to see something. And I do that with painting as well. So like the piece in the back behind me, those are like white outlines. And from afar, it looks like I just did one stroke. But if you look real close, you can see me like kind of sketching them out. They're not like one solid line. So a lot of my pieces from far, they look solid. Even Mercedes pieces in the background, I call it chainmail.
Okay.
From afar, it looks like it's just blending nice. But if you look at it close, you can see a bunch of brush strokes just kind of crazy on there. So I'm not quite sure how I developed that skill. It just came to me. So but the difference between a painter and a drawer is pretty much the medium. You could draw in the sketchbook, but you got to have like water and paint and a canvas to paint on. And that's really the difference between the two.
So you know what I've always been amazed at that I saw. I think we may have talked about this before. You know how you see on social media some of these people, they'll just start painting something, and then they flip it upside down. All of a sudden, it's somebody else.
Yeah.
First of all, they're not actually painting that fast, are they? Or is there like a time?
They could be. This people like that. That's pretty talented. And I just found out that a lot of people do paint upside down whenever they're painting faces. For some reason, I think the brain can see certain things better when you actually paint a portrait upside down. I just learned that about 2 weeks ago.
Really?
So they are painting them upside down, but I'm pretty sure there's like a sketch or something that we can't see, which is perfectly fine.
Right.
Because you still got to paint that, you know.
Right.
But yeah, some folks are that good too, though. You got just some geniuses out there that could just do stuff like that, or people who've been working at their craft long enough to be able to do that. You know, I'm just thankful that 2.5 years in, I found strategically found a way to go about doing my own. So if someone commissions you to do a painting for them, what is it that you want them to know? Because like a lot of times people think if I ask you to commission a painting for me to paint myself, a portrait of myself or somebody that I know, we sometimes think, okay, you should be able to do it right away. Take you about 2 weeks or something. We don't. Can you tell a person what goes into actually doing an actual painting for someone? Yeah, so people who usually collect art or are aware of it, they kind of know that you want to give an artist time. You don't want to rush them, but of course you got to have deadlines and stuff like that. But I mean, for myself, I gotta all my canvases, all my paintings you'll see have a black background. So I got to get the canvas. I got to paint it black fully. I don't buy it black. You can't buy them all black, but it's therapeutic for me to actually paint each canvas all black. You got to let that dry. And since I use acrylic, that doesn't take too long. But then you got to really be in a certain mind state for me to just sit down and sketch out these things and get it precise. And I like my sketches prior to painting to just be right on point. It helps me with painting.
Okay.
So it takes a certain mind frame. Like sometimes you might just be in the zone and sit down and sketch something out and it just turns out right. But a lot of times for me, it's not like that.
Okay.
So my commissions, I try to knock them out with like two weeks to a month. But sometimes, depending on the intricacy of the piece, it can take longer than that. And you pretty much know what you're getting with me. You know, you're getting a black background with skin tones. It's usually like browns and blacks and tans and stuff like that.
Okay.
And depending on the size, it also depends on how long the turnaround time is too. But what's crazy with me is the bigger the piece, the faster I turn it around. Just because when it's a smaller piece, you got to really be detailed and stuff like that. So, but when it's big, you can kind of be real loose, and it's a lot easier.
Now, people know you for being an artist or painter, painting to be able to paint, but they don't know your athleticism.
Right.
Can you tell them a little bit about that?
Oh man, my first passion was probably football. Well, not probably, it was football. So I played a little bit of arena football. Football actually got me into college. And I remember that was the goal ever since I was in high school. My parents, well, my mom primarily didn't understand why I was so passionate about football. And I just sat her down one day. Myself and the rest of my family sat her down one day and was like, yo, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, he can get a scholarship somewhere. And then that became the focus for myself and my entire family. So football ended up getting me into a smaller school. And then that's when I always know what to do web development too. I was doing web design. Actually, when I went to college, I knew more about web design than my professor did. So that was also a passion of mine too. But playing football really, it taught me a lot of discipline and dedication. And I think a lot of that carries over into what I do now as a painter. Having to wake up 5 a.m. and go work out. Right. And it's also made me a very good team player too. And I think that's why I was good at managing artists as well. But yeah, I played a little bit of arena, and that's when I learned the business of football, and I didn't like the business of football.
Okay.
But I was balling though. Don't get it twisted.
I want them to know that you as a he can handle a paintbrush, but he do know how to handle football as well.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I was one of those athletic nerds, so to speak. You know, I had a lot of hidden talents that I think I like to keep people on their toes when it comes to me personally. I like to shock people and surprise people. And that's probably why I jumped into painting, honestly, after doing so many other things. It's like, I want to prove to myself that I could do it. I wholeheartedly believed I could and had a strategy behind it. But I also want to show people that I have layers. I'm a little bit deeper than what they might see, you know?
So back to the painting thing. When it comes to painting, and you talk about doing murals versus painting at home, which one do you like the best? Do you like painting murals better than you do?
Yeah, I love murals.
What do you like about it?
I think I'm a muralist first. I'm still getting better at it. But it's just, a lot of times people go out whenever they do their murals and they're playing music and stuff. And I find that for me, I don't mind it. I love playing music, but I forget to. Like, I just zone out.
Right.
And you can do that with paint. Like, painting inside does that too, but it's just something about being outside and being up early when it's dark, or out there late when it's dark and nobody else is out there, and you're just working on a big public piece. And at the end of the day, they become billboards for you, for you and your work. But it's just something about working at such a large scale. And it's funny because my name is Petie Parker now, and I went from web slanging to now I'm technically wall crawling. You know what I'm saying? I just thought about that. But yeah, it's just something about being outside and working in a public setting and seeing people walk by and people stop you like, oh, you're doing a good job. Even when you're starting off, people can't really tell what you're doing.
Right.
And then seeing their reaction when they come back and like, oh, now I see where he's going with it and stuff like that. That whole process is just very rewarding to me, really.
So you have an event coming up soon, right? Tell us a little bit about it.
I have my second solo exhibit coming up this Friday, May 13th. It's called Vials and Villains. It's the follow-up show to my first exhibit, which was called Heartbreaks and Heroes.
Okay.
So I tried to find something that was like the opposite of Heartbreaks and Heroes. And Heartbreaks and Heroes was primarily based around like me finding out I could paint. Okay. And it saved my life. So that's where the heroes part came from it. But the focus and drive that I put into painting when I found out I could paint, it attracted a lot of people to me. But that same focus and drive also hurt a lot of people because they realized that focus was unwavering. So that's where the heartbreak part came into it. So Heartbreaks and Heroes was really a public apology to some of the folks that I hurt because I was so focused on becoming an artist. Now with Vials and Villains, it's really more so me knowing who I am and knowing my purpose and not being very unapologetic about my drive and my focus with these things. And if I hurt you because of it, I can't apologize anymore because I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. And if you're attracted to that, then it's really right now, where I am in my life is really on you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, my focus on this is just very unwavering. And I think as an artist, you're more in tune with like an accepting of your emotions and stuff. And the first year I was like really learning that. And now I think I've grown so much and tremendously that I know who I am. I refuse to like be apologetic about it, you know? So that's what this show is based off of. So it's a lot of things, a lot of desires, a lot of things I want to show or thoughts I may have or feelings that I wouldn't have shown in the previous show. And that's what this one is about. So I just pretty much vowed to be me regardless. And if that makes me the villain, then it is what it is. So this one's called Vows and Villains.
I mean, you can't be a villain if you Petie Parker. I mean,
hey man, you know, even Spider-Man went through a dark stage at one point, you know.
he did. So let me ask you this. You know, I can go question after question because I've seen you work. I've seen you do the murals, and it is so much fun. And I got a chance to brag about, I helped Pete do a mural. I mean, really, I was just up there. He made me paint over the graffiti, y'all. So
yeah, you did something, man. You know,
part of it. But it was such a privilege and an honor, man. I really, really enjoyed it. I remember when I first met you where you were before you started doing all this, and we were both developing websites.
Right. That's true.
We were both developing websites, and we went to the was it AR? Was it what we were doing? We went from that to
we were doing augmented reality. We was trying to shop that around to a number of opportunities and stuff like that.
Do you still?
And it's funny. Yeah, I do, but it's funny because I think it's still fascinating to me, and not too many people could do it. But prior to me getting to the skill level I'm at now, I was relying heavily on that because I didn't think I was strong enough as an artist. And I know how impactful augmented reality is. Now it's just like, I love it. I care about it, but I don't really need to do it. So like now with this show, I'm trying to find like a last minute way to incorporate augmented reality just because I know people might expect something like that from me.
Right.
But I think I'm solid enough now as a painter to where I don't really rely on it as much anymore. It's almost like when I first came into social media, nobody knew how I looked because I was wearing a Spider-Man mask.
Right.
So I stopped doing that too because I don't feel like I need that as a gimmick anymore. You know, I feel like I got a true talent that I'm proud of and that I'm building. So it's a lot of things that I was doing in the past that I don't feel like I need to rely on anymore. That I can still bring out whenever I want to. But I just think my painting right now is strong enough for me to not have to rely on those things.
Is it possible that you could come out with a book, an actual book? Are you working on a book?
Yeah, I am. I'm working on a coffee table book right now too.
You have a name for it, or you won't tell it right now? You probably should.
I have an idea in my head, but I'd rather get to a certain point to where I'm like, I got this coming out. Because I had a lot of ideas. One thing about me, man, I'm not afraid to fail. Like I got a bunch of ideas. I'm gonna try them. They gonna get to a certain point. They might die out, but I can't. I ain't trying to bury any dreams before I even try.
Right. I like that.
That book. I'm gonna come out soon. I wanted it to be ready in time for this exhibit, but I actually found out I was gonna have this exhibit a month prior.
Okay.
So it's just everything. All these works I'm doing now is literally me doing this within a month.
Okay.
So I just didn't have time to execute the book at the same time.
So if people want to commission you to do a painting or go to the exhibit, how can they find or locate you? Where can they?
If you go to my website, which is PEYE.shop, I actually have a link on there called, it says commissions. I might have changed it to customs because a lot of people don't realize what commissions means still in the art world. But if you go to that link, the customs link, you can literally pick all the sizes that I offer. Then once you pick that size, with my web development background, I built the site so that you can literally customize and get the exact quote that you want on the site. So if you want to add 2 people in the portrait, if you want to have words in the background, if you want it framed, it'll literally build it out for you so you can see how the placement will be. And that's the best way to go about getting a commission from me. My site also allows people to break payments up into 4s.
Okay.
And I always, instead of me invoicing people, I always tell them to go to the site because from the site, you can break it up into 4 payments if that's easier for you. But again, you got to go to PEYE.shop, pi.shop, and then the customs tab.
Now you have Instagram and everything, right?
Yeah, my Instagram is at Petie Parker, PETIE PARKER. That's pretty much for every platform, for Facebook, Twitter, I'm really heavy on Instagram. Usually I post on Instagram and it just feeds to the other, platforms.
So let me ask you this final question. What is your favorite? Well, okay, two questions. I always say I have one question, but it's always two. Who is the biggest? What is the most? What is one of the most favorite pieces you've actually done for someone that was actually purchasing the piece for you?
Man. I mean, by default, I'll probably just go back to my first piece. The first painting that wasn't a mural that I did, it got purchased by the director of Hunger Games. I had painted this actress from a show called C on Apple TV. And then she saw it and she ended up reposting it and tagging the costume designer and the director of that show. And this is like in the midst of COVID when all the protests was going on and stuff.
Right.
And he got a hold of me. He was like, how much was the piece? So of course I'm ecstatic, like, wait a minute. I had to listen at 500 at the time just because I was just happy to paint something. I was like, it's 2,000. I feel like that was a good number. Now I'm like, yo, my first piece sold for $2,000 to the director of Hunger Games. So it's kind of hard for me to now I'm always trying to top that. That's a good thing to reach for. But yeah, that got to be my first piece just because the overall story and me really recognizing that, like, damn, I can really paint and I can paint well enough to people want to buy it. So I drove that thing all the way to LA and hand delivered it. And met him personally and stuff like that. So that's definitely my favorite piece. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll leave it at your favorite piece. We're going to let people just soak on that one for a little while. We don't give it too much, man. Pete, thank you so much for doing this interview. I really appreciate you. I'll see you soon. And y'all make sure y'all share, follow, and watch, and like, and all that stuff. And make sure y'all go out and check out Pete's work, man. You got some amazing stuff. Did we tell him where you I know you got 2 murals in the city, right?
Yeah, I have the first mural that you and I worked on. By the way, that was just so you know, that was the hardest. That's the hardest piece I've ever done.
The one we did?
Or executed.
Really?
Number one, it was my first piece.
Okay.
Number two, that building has since that we were standing on.
Yeah.
It's fallen down.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, they're so they're building something on. I don't know if you've been over there lately.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, they're building. They put the roof back up. They're putting the roof back up. They're building.
Okay.
I don't know if it's gonna be a restaurant or what.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I mean, just the condition of that building that we were standing on, having to get a lift, and then the power lines is right there, and all that stuff. So, like, I think it was a benefit to my career that piece was so hard to do, because it really showed me that I'm gonna get it done, regardless of what the obstacles are. So because I actually completed that piece, that's what really solidified the fact that that's what made me know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because it was just too many obstacles.
Yeah,
and we still got it.
And it was cold and it was raining.
It was cold. It wasn't even mural season. It was December, February? So February?
Cold. And I was like, Pete, it's cold.
Yeah, man, I had to do it. I mean, and that opened the door for me. I got radio interviews, additional radio interviews from that. I got on TV because of that, in a mask at that time. And it was just a good case study for me to get more opportunities and stuff like that. So, and it really educated me on the area, because I didn't know too much about Auburn Avenue and the history behind it. So I'm just overall, I thank you for even giving me the opportunity to get that done.
Yeah, so we did that for Althea DeBar Johnson is the one we did that for. And if y'all want to see Pete's the Spider-Man thing insignia on that building too.
So I have one there. I got one. I had a Black Lives Street mural that the community actually helped me come out and paint. So I didn't do that one alone. I just kind of designed it. I have one at the Trap Music Museum in their parking lot. And I've actually painted on that wall twice. I did a big Volt mural there.
Okay.
Then I got commissioned to do another Volt mural on top of that one. I have one at a spot called Maverick Apartments, which is my newest one, my latest one.
Okay.
I had a power box that I painted in Lil 5. And I have another piece that I'm currently working on. It's kind of taking my time down off of Peter Street, right next to the building that I'm the general manager of, which is Peter Street Station. So I'll probably get that one done soon. And I've done a number of interior murals too, in people's homes and stuff like that.
All right. Pete, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. I plan to see you at the event.
Oh yeah, look forward to seeing you too. I appreciate you. You already know, man. Thank you again.
I got you, man. Y'all have a great. Thank you for watching. Trying Success here on the Old Fashioned Health Network. Good health inside and out. We out.